Awesome. Good evening, Virgo. I'm going to be delivering one of your messages from Spirit to see what they got to say. I figured we can check what's going on in the love department. So I hope whenever you're viewing this, you have a good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening, or a good night. Whatever just feels right, my love. I figured I'd stop in, before it's time for me to go out with my mom. I'm going to change my outfit and everything. I'm yeah. So let's see what's going on with you. Let's see what's going on. Okay. I'm lighting this cinnamon stick for wealth, prosperity, abundance, keeping our pockets chunky because we do like that over here, baby. We're always manifesting money. Yeah. You're always manifesting money. I'm hoping that tonight will be good or whatever. It'll be nice to spend time with my mom. So I'm yay. Put you in a book, Virgo. Cool. So let's see what's going on with you. See what's going on in the love department with the person you could be talking to, you're going study with, you're in a long-term standing relationship with, or the person you're in separation with. If I didn't say that already. All right, Virgo. So I feel like honestly, this is more so about being seen in your relationship and most definitely heard. I see that as far as in the dynamics of your situation, you guys are great partners when it comes to, being able to support each other on a financial tip. And also when it comes to being able to express yourself about being heard and everything, I definitely see that you are being seen. You know what I mean? I just see there's a lot of power struggles going on right now. Maybe it's just because you guys are going through a test as far as with your trust with one another and how things are going. You know what I mean? And maybe this is kind of like a toxic cycle that you guys have been working through. So perhaps maybe you should try suggesting couples counseling or something like that if you guys have been going steady for a little bit now, or perhaps finding a mediator to listen to both of your problems together or something. Perhaps right now it's you guys definitely mirror each other for sure, and I guess that's why you also feel so seen, is because you want another get each other for sure. And you guys do see each other. The thing is that I do see there's a lot of jealousy going on, maybe a little bit of manipulation or something like that. But this is also about this person overstepping their boundaries, and perhaps you're settling with that because you don't want to fight more than you guys possibly already have been, or maybe you just you figure if they check the phone or they do whatever they have to do to make themselves feel better, ultimately the situation will resolve itself, from what I'm seeing. Or maybe if you focus solely on that person and you get rid of the friends or the person that they feel like they're in competition with, or you feel uncomfortable with them entertaining, you know what I'm saying? Perhaps the relationship can resolve those issues. I feel like this is something you guys are definitely trying to avoid right now. maybe this person right now is keeping your distance because this is something you guys got going on, you know, and maybe this might make you feel abandoned in this situation, or maybe this is how this person is feeling because you also don't want to deal with like a codependent relationship, even though you do feel like you are seen with this person and you guys marry each other. I just don't think you want to be, you know, the seconds or some shit. You might be comparing yourself right now and or body shaming yourself. You know, you might be feeling unattractive right now, so you might be trying to work on yourself, or this is how this person is feeling with you, Virgo, because they see that, you know, you're on top of your game. Your finances are looking good, you're looking good. You know what I mean? You probably smell amazing. You know what I'm saying? This person might have lost their way a little bit, maybe have gained a little bit of weight or something like that. So now they're comparing, like, you know, how they used to look or what your type typically is and everything like that. Maybe they're looking to see if there's a little spark or glimmer in your eye if you're looking at somebody that you might find attractive or something like that. Maybe you guys are not communicating clearly about the issue or discussing, you know, how you feel. Like you're being seen, but you're not necessarily being heard. Maybe you're not expressing yourself clearly enough. You know, maybe there's some things like you're kind of beating around the bush because you don't want to hurt your partner's feelings or something like that. But I do say to say, Virgo, that you should be able to be open and honest about this relationship and how it makes you feel, especially if there's a little bit of jealousy going on because you guys are kind of going through, you know, this toxic cycle and, you know, having a little bit of trust issues as well. You know, so I feel like maybe it's time you guys talk about, you know, what's going on in the relationship and how you guys can fix it. You know, because I mean, comparing yourself or them comparing themselves, you know, to trying to keep up with you because they see you, you know, you're starting to blossom and everything like that. It might be a little hard. They might feel like you might leave them behind, Virgo. They might feel like you might leave them behind. You know, they might be criticizing themselves. They might feel like you criticize them. You know what I mean? Uh, Maybe they're trying to like tell you to focus on like their good qualities, traits. Maybe they're like they lack in something, but in one other quality, skill trait, or something they make up for. You know what I mean? Maybe it's like you're kind of maybe they're afraid of this rejection. You know, maybe they feel like, you know, you're building up so much confidence, you're exploring, you're not like you're exploring yourself. They feel like, you know, you might be starting to want to date. You might be wanting to socialize a little bit more. You know what I mean? You might just be wanting to live in your true color because at one point in time you could have been in this space where maybe you felt uncomfortable in your own skin, but now look at you. You're happy, you're glowing, and I honestly, I feel like this person is feeling like this is too much work keeping up with you. You know what I mean? Maybe there's some red flags kind of showing that this person might be off and on because they don't know how to talk about these things. Maybe one of their things, their problems in the relationship is a communicational aspect of as far as like, you know, not being direct. You know, they're not talking about really what's, you know what I mean, bothering them. And they could be making up excuses for, you know, why they're ghosting or why they're not talking or anything like that. And it's because, you know, they see you changing. And I feel like if the more they can try to draw out the situation, you know, the more they can probably try to keep you stagnant, Virgo. Yeah. And I feel like honestly that sucks. Like I feel like one point in time I did go through that in my relationship where I lost myself entirely, and then once I started trying to put myself forward again, my spouse was a little bit taken back because he didn't know how to handle that. But I mean, we're working on it, and if anything, he's just like worshiping the ground that I walk on. But this person might be retreating right now. They might be confusing like envy for like all these other different types of thoughts. So there's a lot going on, and they don't know how to get that, that chaos under control. You know what I mean? Maybe they treat you some certain type of way, and it's not something you should be tolerating, Virgo, especially if it's any sorts of abuse. But this person feels like, you know what I mean? They're afraid of losing you. I feel like they already see you having your back turned away from them. I feel like they don't really see themselves continuing that journey with you, any further, Virgo. I feel like this person right now has a lot going on, and you changing is a part of the reason why they kind of feel conflicted. I don't think they expected you to keep growing in the relationship. You know what I mean? But this is your reading, Virgo. I hope it you found something out of it. You know what I mean? So see you later. Bye.